Hi guys,
Hello.
welcome to Sony Talks. We are just two normal, regular Nepalese girls who love to express our feelings, opinions, and views on many different social issues happening all around the world.
Yeah, and as we have mentioned, since we're Nepali, we'll also be focusing on issues occurring in Nepal and globally. So it might include sexism, racism, casteism,
Yeah,
everything.
literally everything. Um,
Yeah, I just want to say that we have been brought up in the UK. However, we have been brought up in a very typical Nepali household. So
Mhm.
our beliefs and views may be very different to you guys, or you might relate to us.
yeah, but this is just mainly
So,
solely based on our opinions and our feelings. So people shouldn't take it
hmm
as literally as fact because it's not.
yeah,
It's just
definitely.
our feelings. So the main
You wanna?
Yeah, the main thing we're going to talk about today is about how it has been for us, as girls living in our society, growing up in our society, and
hmm
the double standards and experiences that every girl feels. Um, that's so much different to how boys are brought up and how boys are treated in Nepalese society, in other brown cultures, maybe around the Europe as well. It, they
Yeah.
might be, yeah.
So we're basically talking about how being a female in our society is very different to being a male.
Mhm.
So I just want to ask you guys, if you're listening to this, have you guys ever felt like you've been treated differently just because you're a female? You know, because I personally have.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely have. We've seen it. We've had it, and it's still happening because our society is still very much same. Even though, and we're not saying that
Yeah.
there hasn't been any progress over the decades. We are saying that obviously more girls are going to school. People are in position of power. There's more people in parliament. There's more people in sciences. However,
hmm
sexism and gender inequality is very much real, very much happening. Pay gap is so real in America and UK
Yeah.
as well. In or in
hmm
white culture as well, it's very real.
Definitely.
And obviously,
But then I feel like
mm,
in our culture, it's more like those little things like doing house chores,
yes,
and
sexual identities.
hmm
So, people mainly focus and use feminists as a negative word and have this negative stigma towards it. But I
yeah,
think a feminist is just a person who believes in all the political, economic, and social equality of both sexes, not just the women. And I feel like many people
hmm
just think that feminism just stands for being treated as men higher than men, or that we think we're better than men. We don't. We're just fighting for equality.
yeah.
Mm.
Like basically, to me personally, to me, feminism means like being treated the same as men because we still aren't. So we're nowhere near of going higher than men. So we're just fighting for justice and for equality, I guess. But people have a very different thought and views about feminism.
Because yeah, many people just use it so wrongly. It's like if they use it like as
Mhm.
if it's an insult, and it shouldn't be. Because feminist is such a
Yeah,
wonderful thing to be. You're just expressing your rights, your justice. It's basic human rights.
yeah.
Basically.
I'm in the neutral side. Like I don't really.
Mm.
Yeah,
If you're that
yeah.
insecure about women having opinions and feelings, then you can just leave.
Bye bye. But anyways, getting into the main topic, we're just going to talk about how being a female is very different to being a male. Again, the first thing I want to talk about is how being a female is very feels so uncomfortable and very unsafe in our society. Like just the way people sexualizes us just makes us feel like we're just an object. And the way they sexualize us is based on our makeup, our dressing, and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
exactly.
They don't even know our personality and they
No,
will make judgments about you.
exactly. They portray us from how they see us. Like
Mm-hmm.
they don't see how we think, they don't see how we feel. They see us on the skirts we wear, they see us on the short tops we yeah, crop tops we wear, the amount of makeup we wear, you know, apparently if you wear too much makeup, you're like a slut. Or if it's revealing clothes, then you're just classed as a whole person. And I think that's just so
Yeah.
rubbish to base someone off on their looks and the way they dress.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And it's not just the older generation who thinks like that, because I can guarantee there are people from younger generation who still thinks like girls wearing revealing clothes means they're asking for it. Sorry, but asking for what?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Us feeling us feeling confident about our own body does not mean we need your attention. Do you get what I mean? If you want to
Exactly.
compliment us, then you can do that. But if you don't, then you can just leave. Like, it's so easy to just walk away than make a comment on
Exactly.
people's looks.
They think like we dress up for boys. They think we put makeup
Oh
on
yeah.
for boys' attention. We're not
Mhm.
doing it. We're not asking for male attention. We're doing it for ourselves. And people just need to
Mhm.
understand that girls wear makeup because they want to. Girls wear short skirts
Yeah.
because they like it. They like how they
Yeah.
look and they're gonna do it whatever they want. And that's just how it should be. But unfortunately, obviously it isn't.
You know, the thing that really baffled me was when a auntie told me to not wear a red lipstick because it shows how loud
Oh
you
my gosh,
are.
yes. Oh my gosh. I know. I don't understand why it's such a bad thing to wear red lipstick, like, till now. I mean,
Yeah, like what?
apparently it makes you look sultry and you look like a married woman. I'm like, "What? What? Like, how does that
I know,
even?"
right?
There is no correlation, literally.
But yeah, sexualizing again, I want to say that I have seen loads of girls' picture like floating around in the internet in the most like unwanted Instagram pages,
Mhm.
other websites that we haven't
Mhm.
even given consent of. But I can like argue back saying, I've never seen a guy's picture floating around in the internet like that. So why should people take girls' pictures without their consent and post it in a website that we don't want in?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like they want us to, like, be seen in such a negative way, you know? It's not just us posting our pictures just for us. It's like posting pictures for
Mhm.
their attention, for male attention, for everyone to be like, "Oh my gosh, look at her."
Yeah,
Like, we don't ask for it, no.
no. Like you will wear a crop top that shows your belly button, and then people will be like, "Oh my god, you're acting like a whore. You're
Yes,
not dressing up properly. Girls are meant to hide stuff."
exactly.
Okay, another thing that is different about being a female in the Nepali society than being a male is that girls are really restricted on doing things because
Mhm,
parents worry about us a lot.
exactly. We're restricted on so many things, like clubbing. We're not allowed to go clubbing at night because, you know, someone might kidnap us or someone might sexually assault us. We're not allowed to go, drinking with our friends or sleepovers. Guys, we're just not allowed to sleep over, ever. I feel like boys don't
Man, that
understand that, but we go through that pressure every single day of our lives till
right.
now.
It chuckles me how they allow our friends to come over our house to have sleepover, but we can't go to their house to sleep over.
Exactly. I mean, I
But I get it,
understand.
like they are doing it for our protection, but then there is a way, there is a way to say, you need to be careful, but
Yeah,
you need to allow them to go. You get what I mean? Like you can't restrict them. The more you restrict, the more they want to rebel.
exactly. You just need to guide them on the path. You know, you need to teach them, obviously show them the right path. And if they do
Hmm.
make some mistakes, then you need to teach them what is right. But in a way that they will
Hmm.
understand it and won't do it again. Not in a way saying like you can't do it, like I forbid you to do it, and just making them question
Yeah,
it even more and just wanting them to do it again.
yeah.
There needs to be a certain ground of understanding between the parents and the kids, basically, and that just needs to be focused on trust.
Trust, yeah, trust is the main thing, but we lack we lack trust in every aspects. But another thing that I want to touch up on is dating. Girls are very looked down upon when they date and then the relationship doesn't work. They will be like, "Oh, 펄나고 둘이 요 छोरासँग date गरेको."
Yeah, they treat it as like secondhand object, you know. They were like, "Oh, she was with this boy, so you know, they must have done stuff. So she is just used up," you know. They'll view her like that, which is just so wrong in many like they never see boys like that. They never see boys as
Yeah.
used mal.
I've never heard of uncle and auntie saying, "Oh, इसको छोरा dated this girl," and then blah 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 happened.
Mm, exactly. And when they do date, exactly, when they do date, it's like "Kita to,
Yeah,
걔도 no?" Like that's the way
yeah,
they're thinking, and then that's the way they say about
yeah.
boys dating. Also, another thing obviously is when you know Nepalese people go through such thing as divorce or separation, it's always mainly the woman that gets the blame. It's always the society telling the woman, you know, you need to suck it up, you need to stay in that relationship no matter what because he's a man and he
Mm-hmm.
can do whatever he likes. But you, as a woman, just needs to suck it up and go with it because that's what you're
Yeah.
there for, keeping the family together, which is just so wrong, right? Like, how can we just treat ourselves like that? And this is like aunties enforcing these rules. These are like women enforcing these
Mm-hmm.
rules on another female.
Yeah. I personally think that when a Nepali man gets divorced, they really encourage him to remarry, like within few months. But then when
Yes.
a female is divorced, they want
Mhm.
her to, stay away from relationship for a very long time. And I don't really understand that.
Mhm. Exactly. And if she does get into a relationship, say like I don't know, 2, 3 years after, they will be
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, I bet she was cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that was the reason. They will just put that, you know, they
Mm-hmm.
will just assume things and spread it as a rumor and put all the
Mm-hmm.
blame on a female, on women's basically. No matter how worse or how bad of a
Mm-hmm.
thing the husband is doing or how toxic the relationship is, the woman is always told to stay in the relationship because marriage is of that bond and they shouldn't break it. But I say, if your husband is
Yeah,
shit, then you leave the relationship.
definitely.
Absolutely. And the same with boys as well. I mean, I've never heard of single dads, but I've heard so much
Yeah.
of, single mums, and
Mm-hmm.
they're so looked down on. Well, I don't understand why our Nepalese society look down on single mums, especially when they're doing the jobs of
Mm-hmm.
two people all together. They look down on saying, you need a man to take care of the house, you need a man to take care of the business. No, I
Mm-hmm.
think a woman can do everything all
Definitely.
together.
Definitely. And widows as well,
Yeah.
those people who have lost their husband, instead of
Yeah, oh my
like
gosh.
giving them comfort and giving them support, they just talk shit about them.
Mm. Especially if they like
Oh yeah.
go to parties or wear
Mhm.
saris and look pretty. It's
Mhm.
like they can't live for themselves. It's like
Mhm.
women can't live for themselves and they just
Yeah.
need to be
Like
suppressed under.
if you see a widow wearing ratu chura, then they will instantly spread the rumor like, oh, she was being all loud and that in the party, she was wearing rato, she wasn't being sad. त्यो त बुढा मरेर पनि कस्तो खुसी भएर हिँडेको रहेछ. You will hear stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, yes. You would definitely hear that.
Mhm.
All the aunties and uncles will talk shit
And
about her.
you shouldn't really do that because first thing first, that's not you. And put yourself in her situation
Hmm.
and think, oh, how would I feel if someone talked about me like that?
Exactly. And I think many people don't think like that
Oh
ever
yeah.
when they
You
spread rumors.
literally, I need to stress
Sorry?
this, like you need to put yourself in other people's position and think how you would feel, yeah,
Hmm.
you know? Imagine your husband died and people are chatting shit about you. How would you feel? How would your mental health be?
Exactly. Especially when you're trying to
Mhm.
move on and be happy with yourself and your life. And then people just bringing it up again and again, saying
Mhm.
that you need to be sad forever. It's just so wrong. And it just takes a toll on mental health. And that's how
Yeah.
suicide rates go up.
And gender inequality can be seen in the most basic stuff like regular stuff like house chores. We
Hmm.
hear the amount of
Yeah.
the amount of times we hear this sentence, केटी मान्छे छोरी मान्छे भएर यो गर्नुपर्छ. Girl should do this, girl shouldn't do that.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Maybe they hear stuff like, oh, छोरा मान्छे भएर, you know, like you need to कमाइङ and then you need to support the family. But sorry, but we are living in a foreign land. We do the same thing as well. Women who are living in the UK from the Nepali society are working as well as doing household chores.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And then, but they're
Mm-hmm.
still classed lower than men. I mean, they're still seen lower than men. The patriarchy is so
Mm-hmm.
real here in UK as well. You think like people living in UK would obviously be more open-minded, but the bond and the Nepali tight,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very tight-knit community. So the thinking and the cultures is
Yeah.
still very much alive here, and patriarchy is very much real here as well. People might think in Nepal that, oh, they live in UK, it must be so free and open. It's not though. Especially where we
Yeah.
live, there's loads of
The
Nepalese.
community is so small that the discrimination can be even worse than Nepal. Yeah. And going back to the house chores, okay, like when a girl just puts the plate in the kitchen and doesn't wash it and just goes, you know, wherever, they will be like, "Oh my God, छोरी मान्छे भएर यस्तो
Hmm.
भाँडा नधोइकन गएको." I
I
see
know,
guys,
I know. But I've never seen that though. I've never seen that happen
yeah,
because it's so engraved in our minds that we need to wash the dishes. I've never seen that happen ever.
they won't even tell you off. Like my parents won't even tell me off, but then I feel like I have to do it. So every time I go to the kitchen, like I'll see dishes and I'll just do it. Like it's my automatic, you know, behavior to do it.
Exactly. Like subconsciously we just do it because it's been so like told to us so many times.
Yeah.
Subconsciously we just
And
do
I'm
it
not
without even
saying like
knowing.
and I'm not saying like oh doing dishes is so bad, but it should be equal, you know.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
Why
Exactly.
should it
But
be the woman cooking? Why should it be the woman cleaning? Why should it be the woman washing the dishes?
yeah,
What are men doing? What are men doing?
yeah. I mean, especially in Nepal, some people eat after the
Oh
after the
my
male
god,
people in
yeah,
the
I've
houses,
heard
isn't
that.
it? They serve the
Hmm.
they serve the male people first, and then after they wash the dishes, after they put everything away, then they eat, which is just so wrong. As a
Mm-hmm.
family, you should just eat together. Like it just
Oh
shows a
yeah,
sign of like degradation, don't you think? I mean, I guess they've been brought up with it, they've been used to it, but now I think,
yeah. Even in my within my relatives, I've seen like serving the guys food first and then them eating it, which I don't really get. And
hmm
one of
yeah,
my relative, a female relative, she dared to eat with the males, and oh my god, the backlash she got just because she ate with the males. Like they were like, "Oh, she's not so cultured, you know. She needs to know our traditions." Sorry, that's not tradition though. You know, like you made that up,
I don't know, and we don't even question it. Exactly, we don't even
right?
question like where did that even come from?
People just like make of those rules and just slap it on tradition, culture, and beliefs. Yeah,
And just
hmm
enforce it for hundreds of decades,
definitely. But then
which is just wrong.
I think we are still progressing. Like back in the days, you know, female used to jump into the male's fire and then burn herself just because her husband is dead. But that practice is long gone, and we are progressing. But I feel like we can progress in such a fast pace, but we're moving in such a slow pace that so many lives are gone. You know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Especially like you hear these stories and like news about families killing like the daughter-in-law or torturing them because of such and such things that they did, and that's someone else's daughter as well. Can they not imagine their own daughter
Yeah.
in their sense? I just don't understand. Also, let's touch
Hmm.
upon menstruation. menstruation in the white culture is not, seen as anything bad or seen as anything, wrong. Whereas in obviously Nepalese culture, it's a very big thing, especially in some religion and some cultures. People are made to like sleep outside in the floor for the days when they have their
Yeah.
periods. And imagine going through that pain, that backache, the stomach ache, and you're bleeding and you have to sleep outside in the rain or
Yeah.
in the cold.
It's not even about like sleeping on the floor and stuff. Like, it's just out of humanity. Like, that girl is
Hmm.
going through this natural process where her body is so weak. Rather than you like supporting her physically, you're leaving her like, sleep away, like, don't do this, don't come into the kitchen, don't do prayers and all that. Like, why those restrictions? It's just a natural process that female grow through. Like, we did not choose to be female, we did not choose to have menstruation cycle. So why should we go through that?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's so natural, the menstruation is such a natural and an amazing thing, that we can be mothers. Like we'll be able to bring, life into the world, but people look at it as it's such a shameful thing when we first get it.
You need to like think in
It's
a very
very wrong.
optimistic way, but then you know how humans are, like everything we just the first thing that comes in our head is a negative thought, like we are that pessimistic. But
Mhm. Mhm.
I just want to say,
Definitely.
like, menstruation is nothing. It's not, we should not classify that as
Mhm.
a impure thing, because it's just blood coming out of your body. What's a big deal about that?
Exactly. It's like a biological process. I don't understand why it has to be looked down on.
Literally.
So obviously we know that or not all Nepalese women must have gone through this, but I think there has to be like a 99% at least, that has gone through um experiences of our own or other stories. They might have some worse stories, some better stories. But if you guys do have any, if you can DM us
Mm-hmm.
on our Insta, we have our Instagram page. It's
Mm-hmm.
SSONI Talks, where we only
Two
have
followers.
how many followers do you have? Two.
uh, yeah,
Oh god. But we'll grow. I think we'll
hopefully.
grow.
If you are listening to this,
Hopefully,
then
hopefully.
thank you. Never
Mm.
expected anyone to listen to our
Yeah.
voices.
It, I know. Thank you so much for listening, guys. This was just basically our first ever podcast, so it might not be as high quality or as good as you might expect it to be, but I hope
Yeah.
we've done
And this is
good.
like our um how many times of filming this, so I kind of give up.
I know. Oh my gosh, we've tried so hard. Literally, we've tried so hard. So please share it, like it, and give us your feedbacks. We love any constructive criticisms. We don't hate it. If there is something we can improve on, you can say it. And if we've said anything that's
Hmm.
offended you in any sort of way, then please say so, because I don't think we have, in my view.
I don't know. I can't read people's mind. No, I just want to give a disclaimer that the discriminations that we've talked about is, it can vary from different households. Like, some households might be so open-minded that they don't even know about these discriminations. So, just a
Hmm.
disclaimer, you might not relate, but you can relate. I think you like, if you're Nepalese, you will definitely relate.
Definitely, especially if you live here, UK, America, Nepal, or wherever you are actually. If you're in a Nepalese culture, then I think you must definitely have
And
experienced some of it.
if you have never experienced these, or like if you have never seen anyone experience these, or if you have never been through this situation, then I'm so jealous of you.
I know, I'm so happy for you. Go you.
Literally. You have been brought up by most amazing people. That's what I just want to say.
Yeah.
Very
And,
happy.
I guess very, very open-minded people.
Hmm. And I'm pretty
Mm,
sure you're a
anyway,
great person as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just talking to 0.1% of the people.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening till this end. If you have
Yeah.
made it to the end, then keep on. I was gonna say subscribing.
Keep on sharing it. Please share it to everyone.
Yeah, we will be back hopefully with more juicy topics that will be more relatable.
Yeah, we've only skimmed through the topics. We can go
Yeah.
into so much detail, but we didn't want to bore you guys, in our first podcast, making it too detailed because we
Mm-hmm.
thought, you wouldn't last till the very end. But this is just a very short intro of it. If we were to go in detail, it would take forever. There is
Definitely.
still so many more discrimination that women face in our society. And as a society, as a younger generation, I feel like we can all stand up to these traditions and question
Yeah.
it. I think many people just enforce it and we just don't question why it's happening or why I'm being treated like this.
Yeah.
But we can just start questioning it and start changing
Mm-hmm.
our thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again.
Bye.
Bye.